Hi, g'day folks. Tom McCarthy from Big and Scott Corporate here. I'm here with Julie Taylor, who is the winner of the Salesperson of the Month award. A well-worn path for you. You've done this quite a few times. Good market, you were winning awards. Tough market, you're winning awards. What are you doing that's the same?
I'm doing everything the same.
Yeah.
Nothing is changing. Nothing at all. Like we were just speaking about earlier before we put on the tape, was that I really try, every time I talk to someone, I try and really put across that positive energy. I try and reinforce that, block out the noise. There's a lot of noise out there. And then just get into just a conversation about what the market is actually doing, what our market's actually doing, opposed to what is quite often reported.
So you talk about the noise, and I'm assuming you mean the media noise.
Yeah, and it's like anything. The media can be our best friend and can be our enemy, and we've known that, over the years.
Yeah.
And at the moment, there's always that element. There's always those people that just believe whatever they hear, they believe that is.
It's so true. I mean, humans traditionally are terrible predictors of what's going to happen in the future. I mean, how would they know? We all thought that the market was going to head south at a million miles an hour because of the pandemic, and the reverse was the case.
Yeah, totally.
And there is that temptation in the morning, get your news feed on and start flicking through all these stories around, war and interest rates, and it goes on and on. Alternatively, you could do what you do, and that is just ignore that and just deal with what's on your desk.
It's absolutely right. I just keep going, and then if I feel, and quite often, and things do get to us, and sometimes you feel in a bit of a negative place, I won't make that call.
Yeah.
Or I will let that call go to my message bank and just stay there until I've regrouped and right, now I've got to get on the front foot here. I've got to go back and I've got to build up this person, especially if I want them to trust me with the sale of their home.
Yeah.
I've got to be seen that, I can lead them through this.
So you've won the award, and you win it consistently. How do you reload and say, okay, that's last week's football game. How do you keep the energy up? What are you doing sort of outside of the work environment to keep yourself energised, fresh, excited about what you do?
I am a big believer in physical exercise. I use that. I walk an hour every day.
In the morning, first thing?
In the morning, 5:15 in the morning I'm up, 6 days a week. I walk. I'm really big into yoga. I'm big in, I don't know how this is going to come off, but very much into me time.
Yeah.
Very much. Couple of hours in the morning. It's my time. That's it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's a bit like income. You pay yourself first, you pay yourself some money first. Always put some money aside, pay the bills after. Whereas people kind of get that around the wrong way, and I think they do that with health too.
Yeah.
With your fitness, if you're not in a good physical shape, how can you possibly do what we do? It's impossible. 6 days a week.
And not only that, I think walking, you're on your own. I listen to a lot of audible books or just music, whatever I feel like. But it's a good chance for me to prepare for the day. Just thinking how I'm going to move forward through the day. If there's something on my mind, trying my best not to take it into the office and not make that come across any phone calls I make. So I've worked through any issues that I might have.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I do. It's not for everyone.
So we all have sort of ebbs and flows, and when the time arrives when perhaps you're a little bit off the boil, how much is that reflective of what you did 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago?
Well, it's obviously had an impact. It might have been if I had a period that month or 2 months ago where it was extraordinarily busy. And I found that I wasn't putting as much time in as I should have been. That has been something throughout my career, has been, if I've had a downtime the next month or two, that's usually because a couple of months previously were just too really, really busy, and I just lost that bit of focus
Yeah,
on the database.
It is probably one of the most common themes in sales is this roller coaster type of thing. And in my experience, if you go back, if you have an immediate issue, if you go back even 2 months ago, what was I doing 2 months ago? Was I on holidays? Was I off my game?
True, yeah.
And you can tell, and you know, and you even know at the time that I should be doing this. You know?
Totally. Yeah, I totally get it. But at the same time, you can only... Then I sit back and I think, well, hang on a minute, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and I think I've been doing this for a very long time. So that... Whether it's good or bad, that's the pattern that I'm in, because, you know, yourself, if you've got a few sales going and you're negotiating can take a lot out of you. You know, especially if I had in September, I think in one day I had, or over 2 days, I was negotiating 4 sales. And they ranged from just, you know, 500,000 up to, I think it was just over 2 million. So I've got that negotiation going. And I had to write down, continuing the name of the buyers, the amounts I was at. So that was 2 days. It was just 2-3 days. It was just totally gone out of my mind.
Did you get them all across the line?
Yes, I did.
Ah, well done. That's good.
But that's what I mean. So virtually, rounded off to be a week, is virtually I lost that with any sort of follow-up database. So
You know, it's interesting. There are so many distractions out there, and there's certain things we don't have any influence over. Obviously, what's happening in the Ukraine, that type of thing, and that seems to, I don't know why, but you know, in downtown inner city Melbourne, people bring that up as a reason not to buy real estate, which I find a bit odd.
So do I.
But there are things around interest rates, for example, that people seem to be fixated. And you know, if you look at interest rates now, they're about the same they were around 2018 when the market was going pretty well, as I recall.
Yep, you're right.
And as I said at an auction the other day, interest rates have risen to record low levels. And that's right, isn't it? Like we lose perspective over this whole interest rate question, and I think we lose our way a little bit with that. Are you finding that are you entering into those interest rate conversations? How are you getting around that?
Look, the only time I find I'm having them with buyers is the first home buyers.
Yeah, they're particularly sensitive.
Particularly once you get up to a certain level and above, the conversation doesn't even come up.
Yeah.
Does not even come. I can't
true.
remember it coming up. But, so with the first home buyers, you know, quite often, I don't know, they might have mum and dad in their area. Mum and dad might not have that much real estate experience themselves, and they blame everything on interest rates. Well, there's a lot of drivers behind why interest rates have to move. And we know that, you know, it's to do with the economy, and we've just had to move into another property cycle because it wasn't sustainable.
No, I mean, zero interest rates. Anybody who thought that was
sustainable.
Yeah.
So how they, and look, I think some people, you know, someone will give you an offer and say, oh, it's because of the interest rates. Stop.
Yeah, and we talked briefly off before we got onto this. About our business being, we operate in what I call the necessity game. Well, this is not a discretionary business. Births, deaths, marriages and divorces. The inquiry might be holding back a bit at the moment, but you always know that life's got to keep rolling on.
Totally.
Because it is the necessity game. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that people are going to get married and get divorced and have too many children, too few, and die.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of whether there's a pandemic or whether there's, you know, interest rate rises or the market's held up. So the great news about those that are sitting there doing all the right things, wondering, why aren't I getting more business, that it will happen. You just got to kind of consistently do what you do, which is what...
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, I think it's really that, you know, we talk about, and even with Joshua's training, you talk about, you know, the amount of calls, database calls you've got to do per day, per week, etc. That's great, but unless they're quality calls or you've got your energy up, that's what I was saying before. If you don't feel it's the right day or whatever for you to get on the database, don't get on it.
Right, yeah.
Because you're not putting, and people can, you know yourself, someone rings you up over the phone, you can feel their energy.
Yeah.
You know? So that's, you know, and that's just feedback I've had from people that they've said, you know, you've sounded positive and you've made us feel comfortable
Yeah.
about dealing with you because you're positive about it and we can see where you're coming from. So, yeah, I will pick my marks again. Like I said, if it's a day I'm not feeling that good about it, I'll think, well, no, I'm not really going to value add today. So I'll do something else.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're now heading into Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And psychologically there is that
Yeah, I know.
thought, I can start winding back. I used to
Yeah.
work with with a guy, excuse me, who used to call Melbourne Cup Day, that's the day he rolled up the shutters.
Yeah,
Imagine
no,
running a business saying,
yeah,
Melbourne
yeah.
Cup, I'm going to roll up the shutters.
Yeah.
So we are coming to Christmas. Hopefully you'll be back here next month as salesperson of the month. What are you doing about that?
Well, October, I've got to admit, it's been a little bit quieter. It's been a bit quieter. Come actually after the Melbourne Cup weekend, we've got some really good property
Great.
for a run through. I think December the 10th at the moment's my last auction. Working on another couple. So I think November will be, I'm hoping November going to December will be good.
Awesome. So we talked about a training, excuse me. We talked about a training the other day about banking inquiries. So putting things online around Christmas time, bank the inquiry,
Yes,
go have your holiday, come back, smash into it on the 15th or whatever.
Well,
What do
I'm
you do with
actually doing up a proposal at the moment for someone I'm meeting with tomorrow to do that, put it online on Boxing Day, and I think I'll take that on board if the client's comfortable to do it. But I can see a lot of benefits to
Who's
doing
going to
it.
put on? Who's actually got to physically put on?
Lottie. I've got Lottie now working
God
for me.
bless Lottie.
Yes, I know.
Eh?
God bless
Okay.
Lottie.
Well, that's it, folks. I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
Absolutely.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Great. Thank you. Bye. That was a good chat.
This is for New Dimensions, the all-electric EQB.